This conference will now be recorded.
The time is now 6:38, and I will call to order the meeting of the Tilton Planning Board for Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. And again, I apologize for being late, starting late, but we have not had a quorum until right now. Thank you, Tom, for coming. We'll start by introducing ourselves. I'm Jane Alden, I'm the chair.
Christine Dembitsky.
Tom Damon.
And Leanne is the land use coordinator. So the first order of business tonight is a continued public hearing for minor subdivision for Brad and Vicky Ewens, Planning Board Case 21-17, located at 34 Silver Lake Road, map R10, lot 34. Proposed two-lot subdivision to create a new lot consisting of 2.17 acres, leaving the existing lot with 4.17 acres. Thank you.
Did we already vote on the application?
Yes, we've
So
already
you went
voted.
last time.
This is a continuation,
They were supposed to go to conservation.
Oh, that's.
and they did.
You want to use an easel or?
I can get you one if you need one.
You got a copy of the conservation suggestions?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Do
Everyone
you have
did
a copy,
too.
Jane?
Leanne emailed it, but I have an extra one somewhere here.
You have a sign-in sheet?
It used to be there on the table. Leanne,
What do you need, Jane?
did you print the copy?
You want me to print a couple copies of copies?
Yeah, I have mine right here if you want to take it.
Not the same level?
No.
This one's not gonna work.
I'll take
It's cockeyed.
I'm still surviving. You say you want me to print them? Oh, copy.
Yeah, one for two, we need two.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Dan Mullen, and I'm the licensed land surveyor representing Brad and Vicky Ewens. And as discussed, we are here for a minor subdivision for a lot in the rear portion of our existing lot. And some of the issues that were brought up at the last meeting had to do with providing you a copy of the wetlands permit plan, which I have sent copies to the board. I trust you have some. If not, I have a picture of it on the back side of that. I did send this full 5 copies.
Did you yesterday tell us I was talking?
No, I sent full copy of this wetland crossing proposal.
But again,
Should be good. I sent the subdivision plan.
You have the reports of the wetland scientists.
And this one's signed by the wetland scientist?
The subdivision plan is also stamped by him.
Oh, okay. That was what John was bringing up.
Right.
Okay, so.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, and last Monday, Spencer Tate met with the Conservation Commission, and they had a few comments that they made, and I trust you have the minutes from that meeting.
Yeah, we have a copy of the things that they recommended.
And they were talking about a driveway permit, and Ms. Ewens did get one in March. And the driveway permit from the state of New Hampshire specifically said that she was allowed to have a shared driveway with the daycare and to have a gravel driveway off of that. So that's using the existing curb cut that's there. So that way they don't put another curb cut in the sidewalk. Plus, if they try to go somewhere else, they'd have to go through a larger portion of the wetlands, and it would have been a major impact versus a minor impact. So she does have a permit for that.
Okay.
And a lot of the other comments had to do with siltation and runoff and things like that. Well, the design has silt socks and silt fences on either side of the driveway. And once that vegetation matures and the side slopes will what's the word I want? Once it gets mature enough there, the side slopes will stay there, and the siltation will be minimal, if none, after that. And they had some concerns about pushing snow into the wetlands. Well, they can easily snow blow that or just plow through it and push it up where the house site's going to be. As far as any, they were talking about logging out there, but it's already been cleared, and the existing tree line is currently outside of the 20-foot wetland buffer. So none of that should be affected. They should be far enough away from any of the wetlands over there.
Okay.
And we are still awaiting the comments from the DES for the wetlands impact application. And we trust that they'll have, recommendations for protecting those wetlands as well. So we are still waiting to hear from them on that. Another comment I think Tom made had to do with fences being in the setbacks. There's a play area there, and that play area has been in place for probably 25 or more years, according to the landowner.
Okay.
And so she has certain guidelines she has to meet for that. And the fences specifically are also, according to your ordinance, one of the items that can be exempt from the setbacks. So it's our feeling that that should just remain as is. It's not hurting anything. It's not going to be encroaching on the neighboring lot, which would be essentially for her daughter's house. It's all, the play area is contained completely on her lot. And so there's no impact to anything else. And it's, it's been in place for a considerable amount of time. So I think, at this point, we are waiting for the DES approval. And I think we have addressed, the board's comments. And I think if we're asking the board for at least a conditional approval based on the outcome of the DES permit.
You did see their recommendation too about the sewer.
Yeah.
Do it at the
Probably
same
a good,
time.
Right. So, and
if you, when you get the proposed house,
right.
I think that's probably a good idea, just from your own benefit.
Right. And I don't know exactly what their plan is, whether they plan on putting a
Okay.
septic up there or sewer, but it is wise to put at least an extension pipe in there. But that's up to when they build, how they're going to do that. So.
Okay. But just be aware of that, okay? Okay,
Any questions?
No, I have one for Leanne. Is that in fact true that the fence issue can be waived from setbacks?
A fence is an exemption on the setback structures. Driveways are not, however.
No, they aren't.
That was one other point I meant to make. The proposed driveway will be a gravel driveway, and the furthest edge next to the setback, next to the property line, I should say, is 20 feet away. So it won't be in the setback at all. So the closest edge will be what the required setback is for the side lot line.
Where's the closest edge on here?
So,
To the right.
Right.
so this
On
portion
this
right
side.
here. The
Oh,
20-foot
wait.
setback is this line right here. This is where the edge of the driveway is.
Oh, okay, we have to look at the
Right
bigger
on the
one.
setback line in.
It's further down, it's on this, okay.
And the closest edge to that driveway is within the 20-foot setback. Is that what you're saying?
No, the
Not
the
touching.
property line's here. And the 20-foot setback is right here, which is the same as the edge of.
So it's right on the
closest-
edge.
Right on the edge of the driveway?
Yes.
Okay.
The important thing to remember about the logging, and I think it's why it was mentioned, even though it's a distance away, any logging can change the water.
Yep.
So that what was not a wetlands can suddenly become one.
And they've cleared up in there. There's already a clear area up there. So. And the limit of clearing that's there now is out beyond 20-foot wetland buffer. So what they've already done is past that.
So to confirm, you said there's gonna be siltation, socks and whatnot on each side of those driveways? Or is there
If you look at
already?
the little sketch right there,
This one? Up here?
point it out. So right in here, he's got silt fences
Okay.
and he's got a detail down here. Shows silt fence and
Okay.
silt socks.
All right.
Okay, very nice. Yeah. On both sides.
Can you see?
Yeah.
And you said there's not gonna be any removal of snow, it's all gonna be snow blown?
I don't know how they're gonna clean their driveways, but they,
Yeah, we have a couple of huge snow blowers that will do their driveway. It would not impact the wetland areas. We'd make sure that they would not put the snow.
Well, I think the concern was only salt and stuff, not snow itself,
Yeah,
right?
well, no, they had some concern about snow.
Oh,
I think Conservation
Yeah,
Commission did.
yeah.
Snow removal.
basically didn't want them plowing and pushing it into the wetland.
They
okay.
couldn't cause
Yeah,
snow
number
in the
5, yeah.
driveway.
Okay, so the pool's not in the setback.
The pool's gonna be removed.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's noted on the plan also.
okay. What did John bring up? He just brought up the setbacks, right?
Hmm?
At the last
Yeah,
meeting?
so
Yeah.
we have the minutes from the last meeting.
Yeah.
I know, I didn't see
Oh,
them.
yeah, if you want to just take a peek. Be the meeting of the
26.
26th, thank you.
Right here, I got 'em. Think, hold on, 17.
Tom had asked how much of the wetlands will be mitigated. That shows on here now, right?
The total impact is less than 3,000 square feet.
You have them? The 20.
Looks like they've covered everything. What do you guys think?
Mhm. Any other comments from the planning board? Any comments from the audience?
You're gonna open public?
Yeah, I'm
Just
open to
official.
the public. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I will close to the public. Return to the planning board. Any idea when you'll get the DES report?
No, it was submitted on the 27th of October, and they indicated they could take up to 50 days to do it.
Wow.
50 days.
Yeah.
That's November 24th,
No,
October
it was
24th.
October 27th when they accepted it.
It's been 30 days. About. Today's what, the 22nd?
23rd, yeah,
So
So
almost
you
a
should
month.
be hearing
Almost a month.
soon.
hopefully.
Do I hear a motion?
So November is gonna be 30 days.
Yeah.
It's only 3
You're looking
days.
at January. You're looking at January, if it takes the maximum, right? Saying that.
Right.
take up to-
But they have to do, we have to have that before.
Right, as of today, they haven't
Right,
been
that'll have
given
to be
any
in the
comments.
condition.
You want to make a motion?
Okay, what is this number called?
Looking for the case number.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept planning board case 21-17 with the following. We have to have the wetlands impact from the DES. Do we still have to say all those things on the side, like meet all the state requirements?
You should.
Yeah,
Yeah. so
And you can have meet all
state and
the, all the
town,
conservation requirements if you like,
Yeah.
that's up
Yeah.
to you. It's all state and local.
State and local. Here it is. Zoning, there's not gonna be lighting. DOT driveway, there's not gonna be signage. And the notes from the Conservation Committee,
commission.
everything else is, you wanna add anything?
No,
This is a conditional approval?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll second that.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Keep forgetting that, but mine's in my binder.
Yeah, I took it out
I should take it out.
because I ended up with too much paper. All right, and the next is a new public hearing. And it is for Volta Tanger Factory Outlet Center, planning board case 21-18, 120 Laconia Road, map R20-3. Want to convert 12 standard parking stalls into 12 standard electrical vehicle parking stalls and install 12 electric vehicle changing stations on Stripe Landscape Island. I just have one question before we start. I wondered why you chose to come here as opposed to going to the zoning board, because you need to,
We were told to come for site plan review at the last meeting, planning board meeting.
I think you
At the
were told that.
conceptual, right?
At the conceptual, yes.
Yeah.
But I think she's just referring to that, they said that signage wasn't allowed, off-premise signage wasn't allowed. So whether maybe you're removing the signage, like, we don't know.
Oh, so,
So you would have to go to zoning to get a variance for signage.
right, we would do that following the site plan approval though,
No, you have to get that first.
really? Okay,
We can't get the approval without that.
okay,
Yeah. Because there's no use approving it if you can't do that, right?
right, okay,
But you
So
can
I
update
didn't
us, so
know.
it'll be easier next time.
okay.
Since I mentioned, it, I didn't know if you were deciding not to do the advertising maybe, and you were just gonna go forward because they said,
No, we are doing the advertising,
you are, right?
Yes.
Well, you need to do the advertising to
Right.
go forward with the
Exactly.
project, is that correct?
correct,
All
yes.
right. And it would be off-premise advertising?
So, I mean, given that the outlets are conceived of a number of stores, I mean, ultimately, there's advertisement throughout the signage themselves.
Right, so you'd only be advertising outlet stores? That's the
I
question.
mean, I guess items sold within the outlet stores and
So you
Yes,
wouldn't, for example, be advertising for Market Basket or maybe another,
no, not for Market Basket.
well, I mean, I'm using it as an
Yeah.
example.
Yes,
Maybe not Market, but you wouldn't do any advertising for anything that's not on the property.
we would be doing that,
Okay,
right. I mean, like
so,
conceivably, yes.
right, so you're not just advertising for Old Navy and Under Armour, you might be advertising for a Macy's that isn't there or
Correct.
whatever.
Yes,
Right, so that's not allowed.
right. So that would be something we'd seek a variance for before the zoning board.
Right.
Okay. So that's something, okay,
Yeah, and I apologize, but I mean, even that you wouldn't have been, there was no zoning board meeting anyway that you missed. So,
Mhm.
I
okay,
mean, good news, bad news, and I mean, you didn't miss anything by not doing that, except you came here, but. And the other thing you would have to do, so off-premise signage not allowed, and any additional signage, period, which is a little less stringent, I would think, than off-premise signage.
Mhm.
But just signage, period, is limited to what the zoning ordinance says now. And I can review the ordinance with you to get exactly what articles you would need
yeah,
a variance from.
perfect. Yeah, that would be helpful.
And that would have to be in by New Year's Eve.
New Year's
So
Eve, that's a lot of
December
time.
31st, easy to remember, right?
Perfect.
And I believe the meeting is January 16th, maybe? I'd have to look at the calendar.
Okay,
Well, it's a third Tuesday.
third,
Always the third Tuesday of the month.
okay,
January. Actually, I'll just send you a schedule, so if for some reason you don't make that one, you know what the next one.
perfect, thank you.
When is it, Leanne? Because I'd like to attend that.
Excuse me?
When is the date? Oh,
I can't remember.
It's the 18th.
18, okay,
And also on there are all the planning board dates and deadlines. So
Awesome.
once you,
perfect.
um,
We'll be very familiar with all the towns.
now, one thing they can do to save you is they can, but that's the part of it, so you can ask to be continued till after the zoning board meeting. And then you don't have to renotice.
That would be
But,
generous.
Now, these are lighted signs, they would have to meet lighting ordinance too, right? That's in the planning board ones.
Okay, and I guess just a question on that, if I may. So as far as lighting requirements, even though this is inside mall property,
lighting requirements for signs, I guess.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, it is kind of it's a little bit of an anomaly, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a sign in the parking lot.
And a light.
You're limited to signs on buildings, it's lit, it's advertising things that aren't in the outlet. I mean, it is a little unique, and I know it's unique because they're in charging stations.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but our ordinance doesn't, it just says no off-premise signage.
Right, understood.
And then limited to 20 square feet per store, so if they're gonna, even if you were just doing outlet, we'd have to address that as
Got
well.
it. Okay,
which you had to do, I think, when initially.
We've been getting variance for since
Yeah.
1994, 97, however long we've been there.
Yeah.
We need a variance. We haven't done it. Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And they will rule as they will rule.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they can continue, or you can just wait till you get that and then, come back, and we'll have to renotice if it's not continued, but.
okay. If I may ask the board for a continuance in order to avoid a renotice.
I'll make a motion to continue planning board case 21-18 until after they had an opportunity to
Actually,
meet
if you
with.
want to give her the date, you should have the next date after
the
the zoning
next-
board meeting for planning would be January, 20, so January, you have the schedule there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just, because I
Yes.
look
So
on
the
the
next-
planning board side.
Oh, okay. So then the next one after
The
that
18th?
would be the 25th, January 25th, 2022.
Okay, continue to January 25th,
Right.
2022.
Right.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we may want to like carefully review anything else that might fall outside the ordinance, so you're
Yeah.
not getting
Bumped
back
around.
and find out you're gonna be a lighting issue or something else you're gonna.
Yes, because I know you're anxious to move, but
It's understandable. Yep. Not a problem.
Was there any changes since the last conceptual?
We did move the 2 stations that were in front of Starbucks after the town's concerns. So
Okay.
we're trying to do what we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to
That's
do
good.
what
all right.
we can to meet the town halfway.
Did it move to the handicap class like you mentioned?
So, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice.
wonderful. I appreciate
Thank
the
you.
board's time. Thank you.
Well, we're sorry that we have to delay it more, but,
Maybe I'll come up and ski next time.
okay. I'll see you, Eric.
See you soon.
Bye.
Merry Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay. That's
Well, we'll
interesting.
just keep this packet
That's
because
interesting, yeah.
we need it
Um,
again.
We have 2 sets of minutes to approve, review and approve. I've looked at both of them. I don't have anything to add, or does anybody else?
No.
No, I see we have 2 sets for October 26th and
Yeah.
for October 12th.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had tabled one set because Janet, we didn't know whether Janet was returning or
John
wasn't.
had an issue with one of the minutes. Remember with the whole approval, I think that was what it was all about. When Janice came back, but she's probably not coming back, so.
Okay, well, I suggest we go on and approve them.
Or at least vote on them.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, even though I wasn't here, I can still vote on.
Of
If it's
course.
grammatically correct, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, because we need enough people.
Yeah.
You can always vote on them. You don't have.
all right, I make a motion to approve the minutes of October 12th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then October 26th, I make a motion to so approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all right. The only other business I have, and then I'll see if anybody else has any, is we talked about first student, that they should come in for a site plan.
When they occupy that new building.
They
right?
have occupied it.
Oh,
They've
they
been here
have?
for over a month, from what I understand.
Is
Well,
the
I-
other building gone?
No,
Oh. all
I
right,
went
I'll
by,
talk-
I went by there today, is how I know. And I
I'll call
called,
Herbie.
huh?
I'll call Herbie.
Call Herbie? All right.
Okay.
And Leanne, you had proposed zoning amendment?
Nope, I just put that because I think it's
I
that
don't
time
know,
of year.
I know that,
Just to maybe go over, maybe fill Christina what happened at
Yeah.
the zoning.
what happened, we broke up into groups
Last week?
last week
Yeah.
and talked about various concerns. It was I thought a very worthwhile meeting.
So all 4 zoning board members were there and we had, I think you were absent, but Fred came late, but Tom was there, Jane and John. We had 4 conservation commission members
Wow.
and we
Yeah.
broke into groups and a couple, well, John, obviously from the select board and Scott Ruggles. I had invited the selectmen, conservation and the 2,
Yeah.
all 3 land use boards. And everybody worked very well together and came up with some good ideas. I think it went.
Yeah, it went very well, I think.
We
And-
came up with a list of things that was
Yeah, I'll
of
email it
concern to us. And I think we're going to separate them in priority or whatever by 1 or 2 or 3 and tackle 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. We're not going to tackle the whole thing in one session. It's not feasible.
Yeah.
But, we're going to do this before we have the deadline for the
Town meeting?
town
Yeah,
meeting.
and we'll pick a couple.
We're not going to do it before the deadline. I think was the
Yeah,
consensus.
we're gonna prioritize them. Leanne's gonna send out
I have the list already done about.
so that we rate them, right?
We're going to, yeah,
Oh.
And then we're gonna come together again.
They wanted to have another meeting and they didn't want to rush into this. And so over the next year, they want to look at these changes they
Oh,
want to make to
okay.
the zoning ordinances rather than rush into something, which is fine.
And we may find a couple in the meantime that we can get in.
It's gonna be tight. I mean, we're not probably not gonna meet. I mean, I know we got Christmas,
That's
probably won't
what-
do it next month.
Yeah,
And we have to have public hearings by a certain date.
Yeah.
It gets kind of tight around this
Right.
time of year to get those all in. So I mean, I heard that they didn't want to do that, so I wasn't pushing to get things done by that time.
Yeah.
frame.
All
But
right.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
good start. There's nothing that's urgent anyway, other than, you know, we talk about things like, do we want a zone for marijuana before, in case the legislature
Oh.
passes that, so that it doesn't come
Yeah.
downtown? If
Right.
that's the will of the people. Maybe they want it
Oh,
downtown.
look how many vape shops we got. All of a sudden they
Right.
were all popping up.
Right.
Vape, vape,
But you can zone to keep those things limited or
vape. Right.
they, you know, so there was some talk about that kind of thing. There was some talk about some lighting issues. There was a few things that came up that were pretty good. And so, yeah, so that's really what that
some
was all about. I'll send a
definitions
list
that
out.
we need,
Yeah.
that we haven't had.
But yeah, so everybody was good.
Years now.
Mhm.
So that went really well, I
Yeah.
think. It was, and I think it just went well just for everybody just.
Yeah.
This is one of the first times that these boards have got together at the same place. And, you know, we aired out some things that were concerned from, you know, conservation, from select board and from us. And the zoning
Yeah.
board, there was a member of the zoning.
There were 4 members of the zoning. board.
And you know, we broke off, went into that, was 4 of us in there. And we had some things that were, you know, on the tip of our tongues, and we had some things that were, you know, a little less prioritized, what we like to tackle for the fiscal 2022. And I think it was one of the most productive meetings I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Wow.
As
Yeah,
far as,
usually we just do
you
it.
know, one of the things that,
Right, well, I thought, you know,
I think it's great that they're being involved.
well, it's
Yeah.
supposed to come, the zoning board is really supposed to bring some ideas to the planning board because they deal with the ordinances every day. So it really is supposed to be the zoning board that says, you know, these are things that we've been seeing over and over again in front of us that maybe should be looked at. And that's one of the ways it starts the conversation with planning board, but didn't seem to be working that way. And I think the
it's
zoning board
never
didn't know
been
that.
way since I've been here. So it's
Because,
us.
well, because it's a,
It's you were charged with
Right.
developing them, but it's supposed to come from, you know,
zone.
the other land use boards to you as ideas, and then
Yeah.
they're supposed to bring them forward. So anyway, so that went really well, and I think that's a good start, and I think maybe it helped a little bit of, I don't want to say camaraderie, but with the Conservation Commission.
Especially, yes.
And, yeah, so I think all in all, it went well. And in fact, we don't have any proposals this year. Anyone asked, that's why, because the boards are working together, try and get something that everyone thinks, you know, can move the town forward without just putting
And
an
we used the master plan and we used the
ordinance.
ordinances existing.
So,
Would it be helpful if we put like a little box at the town meeting, not that a lot of people will show up, of what their concerns would be?
Or maybe we can put that list and say, does anyone feel there's
Yeah.
other things,
We'll do
or I
it.
think those are,
Yeah,
these are some of the things that are being discussed with, since there's no proposals. I can't that much at the town meeting of who goes, but.
I find it every town meeting amazing that everybody has a mouth, but not at town meeting. They don't even show up.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any other business? I'll make a motion to adjourn
Second,
and wish everybody a very, very happy Turkey Day.
yes, you too as well.
oh,
I have to go shopping.